A group of 28 prematurely born babies evacuated from Gaza's biggest hospital were taken into Egypt for urgent treatment on Monday. About 240 hostages were taken during a deadly cross-border rampage into Israel by Hamas militants on October 7th, which prompted Israel to invade the Palestinian territory to target Hamas. About 1,200 people, mostly civilians, were killed in the Hamas assault, according to Israeli tallies, the deadliest day in Israel's 75-year-old history. Since then, Gaza's Hamas-run government said at least 13,300 Palestinians have been killed, including at least 5,600 children and 3,550 women by unrelenting Israeli bombardment. The United Nations says 2/3 of Gaza's 2.3 million people have been made homeless.
We are witnessing a killing of civilians that is unparalleled and unprecedented in any conflict since I am Secretary General.
UN Chief Antonio Guterres. Hamas is a U.S. designated terrorist group. The head of the U.S. Defense Department is making a high-profile push to keep money and weapons flowing to Ukraine. AP correspondent Sagar Magani reports.
On an unannounced visit to Kyiv, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin announced a new U.S. aid package.
Another $100 million drawdown,
including air defense munitions and another HIMARS system. Some European nations have scaled back support for Ukraine, and the U.S. is stretched thin amid support for Israel and a fight in Congress over more money for Kyiv.
AP correspondent Sagar Magani. This is VOA News. Millions of people in Africa's most populous country, Nigeria, are struggling with economic problems analysts say were caused in part by government reform policies introduced earlier this year. Timothy Abuzu has more from Abuja.
The United Nations estimates 25 million people in Nigeria, or about 15% of the total population, are food insecure. Analysts say regional instability, climate change, and inflation are the major triggers of food insecurity in Nigeria. The situation worsened after the government stopped paying subsidies on fuel in May, sharply increasing costs for food, transportation, and energy. Nigeria's currency devaluation is also impacting commodity prices and contributing to overall inflation. Timothy Obiezu, VOA News, Abuja, Nigeria.
Political veteran Joseph Boakai was on Monday declared winner of Liberia's presidential election, beating incumbent George Weah, the National Electoral Commission said after completing the ballot count. Boakai won with about 51% of the vote against 49% of the vote for former international football star Weah, the president of the commission told reporters. Boakai won with only a 20,567 vote margin. The U.S. Supreme Court on Monday declined to hear an appeal by former U.S. police officer Derek Chauvin of his conviction for the murder of George Floyd during a 2020 arrest, which sparked widespread protest against police brutality and racism. Reuters correspondent Zachary Goldman reports.
I cannot breathe. I cannot breathe.
A bystander's camera captured the 2020 arrest of George Floyd by Officer Derek Chauvin. In the video, Chauvin can be seen pushing his knee into Floyd's neck for 9 minutes. Chauvin was fired and indicted for the killing.
Find the defendant guilty. This verdict agreed to this 20th.
After a 3-week trial, jurors found Chauvin guilty of second- and third-degree murder and manslaughter, and he is now serving a 22-and-a-half-year prison sentence. His attorneys filed an appeal last year alleging the judge made multiple errors, including refusing to move the trial out of Minneapolis and declining to sequester the jurors. Minnesota's top court rejected the appeal and upheld the conviction, prompting Chauvin to turn to the Supreme Court.
Reuters correspondent Zachary Goldman. North Korea has issued a formal notice of a satellite launch as early as Wednesday, defying warnings from South Korea and multiple UN resolutions banning Pyongyang from using ballistic missile technology. The Kyoto News Agency said the North says the windows between November 22nd and December 1st.
This is VOA News.
Thank you for watching. Can you do me a favor? Please leave a comment in the comment section below. That would really help. Thank you, and see you again soon.